Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for this chapter 8 of the Bala Kanda under Ramayana. In the previous chapters, we have seen the glory of the city of Ayodhya and its ruler Dasharatha and the method of his administration. Continuing the story, here we will learn about the king Dasharatha's desire to have a son, as he will going to be the heir to the throne to continue the tradition of King Dasharatha. King Dasharatha, that glorious and righteous king, though performing great austerities, was without an heir to the throne. Then the wise and the great souled monarch said to himself, I will perform the horse sacrifice, or also known as Ashwamedha Yagna, in order to have a son. Having thus decided, the supremely sagacious sovereign convened a meeting of his councillors and addressing his chief minister Sumantra, commanded him as follows. Send speedily for the spiritual preceptors and priests, quick to act. Samantra at once summoned those highly learned preceptors and brought together Suyagna, Vamadeva, Jabali, Kashyapa, and Vasishtha, together with other eminent priests and Brahmins. Having offered salutations to these holy men, King Dasharatha, speaking in gracious accents, uttered words full of truth and purpose. He said, O sages, I have practiced virtue, and yet I have not had the good fortune to be blessed with a son. It is therefore my intention to perform the horse sacrifice or the Ashwamedha Yagna. I wish to act according to the injunction of the scriptures. You, O holy men, advise me after due deliberation as to how I can be successful in the proposed undertaking. The learned Brahmins, led by Sri Vasishtha, praised the king's intention and said, You have decided on the proper course, O king. Highly pleased, they commanded those things requisite for the sacrifice to be assembled and the horse loosed. Means they used to leave a horse which would wander around in different countries. And as per the tradition, people, whoever stopped the horse, they should be ready to fight with the army that is following that horse. That means they need to now fight with Dasharatha's army. And if they defeat the Dasharatha's army, then there is an abrupt end to the Ashwamedha Yagna. Otherwise, if the horse went around to all the cities unstopped and never interrupted, and even those who stopped it got defeated. Then, at the end of it, the king used to offer that horse itself in a fire sacrifice, and thus concluding the Ashwamedha Yagna. Of course, sacrificing an animal is not considered as a good or auspicious thing in these days, even in the Sanatana Dharma. Those were the days thousands of years back. Animal sacrifices were considered as an in thing, including the horse sacrifice, or even the cow sacrifice, or even the human sacrifices were being followed according to the Vedic traditions. But over a time, with a time, though all those sacrifices are now stopped, and even today, if somebody is performing an yajna that needs a sacrifice, they create a small idol of that particular animal or human, whatever it is. They create an idol of it and symbolically they offer that in the fire sacrifice. With time, everything changes. They said, O king, let a place of sacrifice be chosen on the north bank of the river Sarayu, O king, this holy resolve formed by you for the sake of an heir will assuredly bring the fulfillment of your desire. Hearing the words of the Brahmins, the monarch rejoiced and commanded his ministers to bring the sacrificial appointments and release the horse under the protection of the warriors. They were also directed to erect a sacrificial pavilion on the bank of the river Sarayu. He further decreed the adoption of those measures which would diminish the possibility of hindrance to the sacrifice, for even for kings the horse sacrifice was not easily performed. The king said, "Let it be remembered that during the observance of the sacrifice, no suffering must be inflicted on any, lest some perverse and crafty Brahmin should cause obstruction in the proceedings." That means if anyone suffer, then there was a belief that Brahma Rakshasas would come, and whenever there is a mistake done during the yajnas, these Brahma Rakshasas would completely spoil. These are the learned asuras, learned learned demons. They used to completely spoil the Yagashala by carrying through the ritual without regard for scriptural injunctions. It comes to naught. Therefore, bring the sacrifice to a successful conclusion. I depend on you and expect you to carry the sacrifice through to a successful issue. The councillors replied, saying, "O king, be it so." Blessing the monarch, the learned Brahmins retired, and the king addressed his ministers, saying, "Prepare the sacrifice as the officiating priests have instructed you, and accept the responsibility for its final success." When the illustrious sovereign left the court and entered his private apartments, where the queens dwelt, who loved the king from the depth of their hearts, King Dasharatha addressed them, saying, "I intend to observe a sacrifice for the sake of obtaining a son. Do you all follow the prescribed discipline?" The queens rejoiced to hear these words from the lips of the king, and their lotus like faces brightened like flowers on the departure of the cold season. Thus ended chapter 8 of the Bala Kanda under Ramayana, in which King Dasharatha expressed his desire to perform an yajna for the sake of getting his children, especially getting a son who would be heir to the throne. In the today's modern scientific age, there may be speculation as to what is the objective of performing an yajna, in which the fire will be lit and ghee and other things will be offered into that, which will be burned down to ashes. However, NASA has conducted a research on this aspect. Of course, these days not many yagnas are being performed. So there was one such Soma Yagna being performed in Kerala, the southern part of India. There, the scientists came from NASA and with their scientific instruments, and they measured the air purity in and around the place. And they found in the place around nearly for few kilometers, suddenly while the yagna is being performed, because an yagna is not being done for only 1 or 2 days, it used to be done for 50 several days to a month. And throughout those days to the month, as the yagna is being performed, NASA has observed a significant deviation in the air quality. Regarding other things like the energy and other factors, we still do not have any scientific instruments to measure them. So they only measured what can be measured by the science as on today, as per the technology. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಶಾರದಾ ದೇವಿ ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರ ಪುರವಾಸಿನಿ ತ್ವಾಮಹಂ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಯೇ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾದಾನಂಚ ದೇಹಿ ಮೇ. ಗುಡ್ ಬೈ.